only water. All right, traders, what up, investors? Thank you for tuning in for another fantastic live stream. I know that you guys enjoyed looking at my face for a little bit, getting everything started there. Yeah, basically, as Ryan pointed out in the back of my screen, that is not a refrigerator. I mean, a microwave. It's a cooler. I keep all my water, my mineral water, and other various drinks in there. Yeah. I'm waiting to get a custom shelf or a longer extended shelf here in the back behind me to kind of better put all my little trinkets and things like that. We'll see on how all that kind of comes through. It's kind of I was kind of waiting on to kind of build that stuff out in the back because again I have so many little things I need to kind of put in and around there. So just be 100%. Yeah, I get that mineral water. All right, so I hope everyone is doing fantastic today. I know it's been a long, crazy time for doing these live streams. I love the pumpkin. I don't know if you guys saw. I got a new. Maybe you weren't able to see it behind me, but I have a snake plant now, which I have to give a name to the snake plant. Since I named the palm tree Kevin, I need to name the the snake plant something else. Trevor R says, Ken, are you bearish next week? I don't know. Again, I'm not going to read in too much of the stimulus once I see things. But yeah, definitely. I think this chop is kind of here to kind of see how this plays out. With that being said, looking here on the S&P 500, as with the futures here, we're up, or sorry, down a slight hair here. Especially at like basically 5 points here. We're down just a tad, about nearly 0.12%. Other kinds of things to look at, we have Bitcoin it's up 3.2, basically a little over 3%. Gold's up nearly 0.5%. Nasdaq is more positive. The RUT is actually a little bit negative at 0.29. So that being said, there is no stimulus. Is that what they're saying? Puts on California. I don't think California needs help, without a doubt, there, from all the things that I hear from family, and then of course all the articles that I read on how crazy it's been within those borders of California, especially just trying to do business. Couple things we wanted to take a looky-loo at. Some stocks that have been really kind of flying up here. Put credit spreads. No, you just want to go straight puts on California. It might, yeah, maybe a put credit spread could kind of balance it out, but they're needing a little bit of help over there, without a doubt. I saw someone post something about Kobe loading up on Tesla, and what up, baby? Loading up on Tesla. Yes, I love my Tesla. Looking for big Workhorse news on Tuesday. Yeah, that's something that it's kind of known about, right, Ryan? So we can take a look-a-loo at Workhorse here. Of course, this thing has been in the news quite a bit. Your boy here, Ken here, was put on the Fuzzy Panda report, which is a short report on how they think that YouTubers were being paid to pump up Workhorse stock, even though the video that they cited for majority of the YouTubers were nowhere near what I was saying, in the sense of whatever reason, whatever. I'm not even gonna dive into that because that just kind of gives me a headache, honestly. So looking here on Workhorse, was up nearly 12%, a little over 12.5% on Friday, hitting that overall parabolic SAR dots here to the downside here, and really seeing it potentially kind of bounce here, some overall resistance here. That being said here, looking for that potential move higher above those dots here if we get any kind of positive news. The matter of the fact there. That being said, I'm going to sneeze here in a second. 1 second. Excuse me. With that overall support band or resistance up there, it's going to be around 27.23. But if it can really break through that with this potential large follow through day, we can easily hit up to $28.80 there. Looking for NASDAQ futures. Thank you. Yeah, we're gonna look at NASDAQ. Kenny and Fuzzy Bear, yes. Ray, thank you. I hope everyone's doing great out there. Same as well. Have a great night and good luck for next week. Thank you, my friend. Looking to short G Pro, says Ryan. Let's look at G Pro. I haven't looked at G Pro forever, actually. Oh, did I write it wrong? Is it just G Pro? What? They got bumped up too? Holy moly guacamole. This is the one I used to trade way back in the day. This thing is yikers. What is going on here? What got another squeeze going here for these guys? Wow. That is a one heck of a move. Potentially overhead target around $6.81. If that fails, we can potentially come back down through that 580, coming back to around $5 and change there for the GoPro. But yeah, I don't even know what happened there. Did they get bumped up or something like that? GoPro surged of 34% on better than expected subscription numbers. I didn't even know GoPro had a subscription service. Greg, hey Ken, can you take a look at Fastly? They are in the store for a pullback. Let's take a look. Like Fastly is definitely one that has really run up higher here. It is looking like it's potentially hitting. This thing has hit overbought here for quite many times, but it's continued to run higher. I don't know what the story here is on Fastly. I don't really follow this one as much as other folks do. But this is looking for a large volume increase. We're seeing a lot of activity, especially on the RSI and the volumes on oscillator, hitting an all-time high as of Friday. If that can continue with this trend and it stays above the 117.79 or basically the 118-ish price target, we can easily see that 130 come in there without a doubt. Then looking for some downside support around 107 to around $100. So we bought into this one just a little bit, a little smid here around this squeeze here, around that $82 price target, ran it up to around $99, got out of it, didn't see this happening. So yep, feeling a little bit of there, a little scared on that one. Thank you for the bless you. Thank you. Thank you. Cruise stocks this week. What do you think about Norwegian and their price target? Austin says. Norwegian. What's Norwegian's ticker symbol? Is it like N? If I just type in this, there it is. There, $18. So these cruise stocks, again, it's gonna be really tied to the overall virus. And so if they don't get any kind of love or any kind of stimulus or anything going forth for them, and once they can kind of start sailing again, because they're just kind of just losing money as of right now, and they're not really performing as expected. Again, it's kind of like the Disneyland in California. They're like, we don't know, we're going to let you open back up and over the floodgates. We're seeing a lot of that overhead resistance around that $18 to $19. If it can break through that, because we have not been able to break through that for some time since basically all the way back in May, we can see that price target here. But again, this is a lot of chop here. This is going to need a lot of strong follow through. The RSI and volumes on loss are looking healthy. Volumes trying to pick back up, but the next overhead resistance is going to be around $20.24. But yeah, I definitely can see a potential push higher if the overall stimulus and potential market moves higher and good positive news and things like that. Are you being serious about that, Ryan, for the water? If sometimes if I don't make it to the bathroom, I just take a. I'm just joking. Copa 319. I think it's the one I just saw. Where I saw you ping it. Ooh, I like this one. I like this one. So swing high to swing low. That's a Fibonacci retracements if you're not too familiar with it. Been grinding here higher just a little bit here to potentially see on how these little fun ones kind of work its way out here. So this is definitely, I'm gonna have to give you the old thumbs up on this one. This one looks really pretty. If we can get above that 309, the next target will be potentially around 328. Again, these are really kind of nicely moving up. They're not moving up too fast. They're not trying to take off like a rocket ship. They are just being a nice orderly manner, continue to grind higher. If this fails, we're going to be looking for some near-term support around 288 and even down to around 282 there. Okay, Ken, can you take a look at I think I just did that one. Did I just do that? Okay, hold on. Hold on, this is going too fast. Jumped on Lulu, looking good for, what do you think, Ken? Yeah, let's take a look. Lulu has definitely been one that's been really beaten up here. It kind of got highlighted on a couple forums that I follow and a couple folks. I think IDB did a thing about it as well. From the swing high to swing low, we're hitting it that we're slightly above that 50% retracement. It did break out to a high from this previous swing. It's still holding that 5 and 8 moving averages to continue to grind higher, potentially looking for some nearsighted targets around 356 to the upside. That's going to be the 618. Since we have the parabolic SAR dots already below, this thing could easily potentially start slowly grinding higher if this trend wants to stay intact. Of course, if the whole not the industry, the whole market goes, this is definitely going to be taken with it. Some near dated support is going to be coming around 329 or 330 to be more precise there, and then even all the way down to 313. Again, this thing has been really beaten up, but I think it still has a little bit of juice left for some positive movement there. Kai says APPL. Is that Apple? It's AAPL. This is another stock I don't know about. Yeah, it must be. You're talking about Apple, so it's AAPL. Of course, this one has, I think the announcement's coming out on Tuesday or something like that, a potentially new phone, new hardware, whatever. This thing has been really building a nice base around that 114 to 115 level. If this gets any kind of movement to the upside, we're looking for 120 to 124 to the upside to be our initial T1 targets. Downside support's going to be really kind of coming in around 111 to even to 108 for the Apple. Just be mindful. There are a lot of earnings coming out next week. We have banks starting out the week. We have United reporting as well. Who else is reporting that I saw? Like Citi, Delta, PNC, a lot of banks, Wells, United Healthcare Group, Bank of America, United, TSM's reporting, Intuitive Surgical's reporting, some gas stocks, Schlumberger's reporting. Yeah, definitely a lot of the banks always kick off the earnings season, so they're going to be there without their. Yeah, Prime Day and Apple without their new release could really move things higher without a doubt. But I think that's somewhat kind of kicked in as well, so be careful on those kind of things like that. Trevor says 4K for Amazon. Sure, why not? Ryan says, I noticed the channel is now called Ken the Dyslexic Investor. When did that happen? I think I did that on vacation whenever I went on vacation. I just wanted to kind of give it a name. People, you can call me the Dyslexic Investor, but I rather just prefer Ken. Like, Corsa says, is that CHWY? Is that Chewy? What is it? The dog pet food store, right? Is that the right one? Yeah. So this one, wow. If you're in this one, you're feeling pretty lucky there without a doubt. With this movement here, again, a lot of those stocks on Thursday, Friday got a nice bump higher and is really just kind of performing very well here. With this, kind of got to get rid of these targets here. With earnings previously, don't follow this again extremely on a close basis, but looking here just strictly on the chart here, we're looking for that potential move to around 63 65.05. Really looking for target around 65.83 to be your initial T1 target to kind of potentially take some profits. Downside support's been building a really nice base around 56 to around $55 to the downside. Even after that, we're going to be looking for some support even all the way down to around 52.52 there. So hopefully that was helpful for you there, my friend. SNE and J&J says no more locked doors. Sony, yeah, this one has kind of been not performing very well. It was in that squeeze here, then that box, broke below the box, now kind of finds support on the previous high here at around 73.81. If this can kind of build a base here, we do have earnings coming up as well on this one. This could be a kind of just consolidating and waiting to see how earnings plays out. That being said, be very mindful of that. Again, with earnings, it's if you know, it's a coin flip. So coin flip is the heads or tails. If the stock can go, the CEO or the team or whatever can post great numbers and all this great stuff, but if they give some kind of negative news or whatever, like it really just kind of pump things down and kind of scare things off. So be mindful of that, especially starting up earnings season there. Calls on Ken. With Black Friday and holidays, Amazon is just going to keep pumping. Amazon will probably hit 3,500 plus in the end of the year. Yeah, Amazon is definitely, I'm not going to say, not definitely, but that's definitely going to be a strong move without a doubt there. Can we do GME? Yeah, we can look at GME. That's the one I just currently did and covered on a Wall Street Best Trader analysis here. With this moves that we've seen here, again, this can continue. This can break above that $14 level and get really into that some higher price targets. That being said, the R sign volumes are also indicating a little bit more of a sideways action or potentially even going down here a little bit to kind of see how this plays out. That being said, I don't follow the accurate short interest. I don't pay the very high premium that it comes with S3 data to kind of figure out what the short float and what their interest is on the short float as of right now. You can go to FinViz, and I think their data shows it's going to be at least maybe a week, at least 2 or 3 weeks behind what the current stats are. Because again, that's not the most easiest information to acquire on what the exact short float is on a day-to-day basis. But this thing has been holding that 21 EMA to the upside. So $9.54 is going to be some downside support. But with such a large move higher, there's going to be people taking profits. Could be bouncing around here a little bit, even coming down to around $10 to $11, and kind of potentially can rickshaw a little bit higher from there. Yeah, Alan, the Workhorse, we did kind of Workhorse. We're looking for that really strong bump up out of that. So definitely can see Workhorse really seeing some strong movement coming from them in the next couple days. Because again, that contract that everyone's kind of hoping and praying on could be coming through. This one is definitely on the looking strictly at the charts has support between the 21 and 34 EMA, so basically around that 24.27 to around that 23.19. As long as it stays above those levels, I'm happy with it, and having this trend to kind of continue to climb higher potentially there. DPHC. This is the Lordstown, right? So I own some shares in this one, full disclosure. I was not paid for anything to talk about this stock here. So the 5 and 8 have crossed through the 21 EMA, but it kind of found a little bit of support here on that 1272 extension from the previous swing high to low. Also saw some support here about 2 weeks ago around that $20-ish level, potentially kind of bouncing here. If we get that 5 and 8 moving averages to aggressively move to the upside, we can easily see potentially coming to around 26. Again, these are going to be those very high speculative SPAC charts that we're currently looking at right here. WB3 just joined NIO right now with my CA is at 20. It's been sitting around 21 range for the past few days. I'm thinking it might not hit 18 again with any bad news. Thinking of getting more at 21. Good thoughts or not? So NIO, I can't give you direct financial advice because that's just going to be, yeah, that's a no-no. That being said, what I would do, anything down to around that 1984 to even down to that $19 level has been holding for the past couple months. As you can see here on the chart here, even breaking to the 20 through the 21 EMA has been a buying opportunity. If this can hold, this trend can go higher. We're looking for some price targets around 26.35 there to the upside, my friend. Jason and Kai says HYLN, Helion, right? Ooh, that took a much of a bigger dip than I thought. So this is going to be kind of perfect for a Fibonacci extensions here. So swing high to swing low high. Since the moving averages are still somewhat aggressively pointing downwards to the ground here, the squeeze has fired short, but this is basically day 4, potentially looking for some support around that $31 price target. We're currently kind of sitting at right around $30 to $31. To kind of potentially see this kind of maybe try to build a base here. Exactly, I don't follow this one on a day-to-day basis as well. Again, these SPACs have just been a pretty crazy run without a doubt, and just really just kind of taking over the market, and a lot of people just throwing money at them blindly and just not really doing the research or looking into if they're an exact company, especially since what happened to Nicholas. So I think a lot of people maybe got scared of the whole SPAC stuff, a lot of that stuff, and just maybe taking some early profits and just getting out and not really looking at the longer term picture of what really could offer, because this is the company that has the add-on product for to allow trucks to kind of be converted into like to save a little bit of electricity or use electricity in the like a hybrid model to kind of really save on gas costs, right? Shit, now shit. Hopefully Sony calls won't go poop. You have to be very careful with no more locked doors about the Sony calls. You have to be very mindful of what did you come into the trade for, and kind of see how that plays out. MA, let's look at MA. Is that Mastercard? All right, this is a nice looking chart. It's got it fell off due to the sell-off. Now kind of made a nice round kind of a bowl shape, like building some consolidation here. Looking for it to kind of pop higher. Nice, very little trade here on the fib side. Yep, I was gonna say it's above that 618. If that can stay above 350, we're looking for 357 and then potentially test its all-time highs there. Downside support is going to be initially coming around 344 to around 338 there, guys. Amazon 3367 calls aside, 32s is the put side. I'm not sure what you mean by that. You're doing a straddle? ZM, we can take a look at ZM. Of course, that is the Zoom. It has an analyst day, I believe, right on Wednesday or Thursday, whatever that means. Looking here, it's been holding that 480 kind of pretty substantially here, kind of letting the moving averages kind of catch up. This is kind of what we talked about previously on, like, okay, had a large move. Now it's kind of consolidating, kind of trading sideways, kind of waiting for some other movements to kind of come in and just really just take it easy here, and see how this potentially could be playing out. There's no earnings currently on the horizon, but this thing has been a true market darling, and just really just breaking out the records and just really just taking people out here for not for granted, but just really kind of shaking things up. What's up, Plato? How you been? DPZ negative news for uh, costs have a pullback. Oh, DPZ had just had earnings too. Like they usually drop on earnings. Yeah, this thing always is so strange. Like the last couple times, it failed here on earnings, failed here on earnings, and kind of getting back on here on earnings. But I was trying to look at some charting here, Plato, to kind of see how it plays out. So from the swing high to swing low, where did it come from? From this swing higher, so what we can do here is do a retracement. So we can do from this swing high to this swing low to this swing high. It's basically 100% retracement. So what that's saying is somewhat saying here is if we can get a potential support and it does not break below that 387, it's not going to be the strongest line of support, but it's going to be significant enough to potentially do maybe initially sell some puts. This might be an interesting one because the IV is really low since earnings just happened, so the IV is going to be really low. This definitely could be a kind of a turnaround play if it can hold above that 387, that 397 to around 405 would be the next target to the upside. But if really that 387 fails, we're going to be looking for some support around that 144 EMA, which is going to be around 380 there, Plato. Plato says SE, basically Southeast Asian Amazon. Yeah, SE has been as well a monster of a stock here. Like, yeah, I wish I had just kind of held this in my account without a doubt. Really kind of seeing it kind of trade sideways here, and really broke out here higher, looking for some targets around 175. That's going to be probably easily obtained here soon. I'm seeing earnings or anything on the horizon. Let's get some of these markers out of the way. So initially some support around 173, and the next target to be around 183.73 to the upside. Downside support is going to be coming in around that 165, then all the way down to around 160-ish price target there for the SE there. Nicola facepalm. Alan Vincent says, I got the 325 put on SPY for October 30th. Let's see. Yeah, are you playing some volatility into the election, I'm guessing? Leo says, can you look at a chart of Facebook? Yeah, let's take a looky-loo at the old Facebook. Facebook has kind of been beaten down here and not really doing too well. Really kind of just trading sideways between that. What is that? 264 to around 258. Really looking for potentially just kind of trading sideways into earnings. And if this can get any kind of movement, because the 5 and 8 is still below the 21 EMA, but we're seeing those parabolic SARs potentially helping this one kind of drag higher, even though I think I don't even know what people are thinking here. Are they thinking like, hey, is Facebook going to ruin the election again? I don't know what they're thinking or why Facebook is down for whatever reason. Dak Cringe, yeah. Zoom has an analyst day on Wednesday, I believe. Google that for me, please. So. The VIX, we can look at the VIX, but the VIX is not going to be looking and telling us that much. Again, it's just been kind of, oops, I spelled that wrong. Kind of just trending here lower here. Again, could we get a pop into the elections? Yes, without a doubt. But this thing has just been kind of just trending here lower, kind of building a base here potentially. Again, this usually just pops on fear, so it's going to be very hard to time it. Ryan says SPWR with huge play in the next 12 weeks. SPWR. This is, yeah, SunPower Solar. Wow, that had a pretty substantially move there, didn't it? With that swing high to swing low, really kind of rocketed here to around that 1748 price target. If this can hold here, maybe build a base here, because we're seeing some higher readings here on the volume zone oscillator and the RSI reading here, Ryan. Potentially looking for some consolidation around that 17 to around 1577 range. But if it wants to start curving lower, we're looking at some support around 1340. But that really the next target we're really looking for is around 2840 to the upside there. What up, David S? Thank you for coming out, my friend. Alex is saying MU, please. Yep, MU is Micron, right? This thing has kind of had a, well, it's been trading sideways for quite some time. Really kind of gave it all up due to Intel and their little debacle over there. But it's really trying to fight here and kind of get breaking out to run at least a breaking above 50 here. That being said, we have a 2-day squeeze setting up. Volume zone and RSI are kind of potentially setting up for a squeeze as well. If this can get any kind of movement, we're going to be looking to the upside around 53.80 to at least 56.90. To the downside, we could fail here again and come back to around that $46.50 level there. Is it safe to short Nikola long-term puts? Is it safe? I'd rather just use my capital for something else, Ryan. Okay, can you look at PEIX? Yeah, sure. Wow. Oh, wow. Wow. That's a high five, my friend. This thing has been doing pretty well for you, it looks like, without a doubt here. For the last couple of weeks here, without it. Yeah, that thing is a beautiful looking chart. Barely came down to the 21 EMA here and just continue to grind higher here. Looking for some initial support with those parabolic SAR dots. Short dated support is going to be around $8.30. A little bit more support is going to be around that 720 to around that 646 range there to the downside. Yeah, big crackdown on those, a lot of the social media stocks again with, yeah, calls on Clorox. It's been a good election play. I don't know. I haven't really traded Clorox too much. I traded it due to the pandemic and everything, and it was doing well, but then it, out of nowhere, just started selling off, and we had to cut it. Not really a fun play without a doubt there. Let me just sip some more coffee. I think this is decaf, so it doesn't really matter. Can we look at SPAQ? Is that another SPAC? Is that the pampered, not pampered chef, what is it called? The tattooed chef or whatever it's called. I'm on it. Oh, this is the Spartan. This is the Fisker or something motor company. Yeah, I'm gonna hold off on that one. It's gonna be a little bit too speculative to me from what I know. And then XPV. Not sure what this does. This one, I might have traded this one actually. I think I traded this actually for kick here. This was just, this came up on my radar a long time ago. Yeah, this one's just kind of been trading, not really getting above that 20-ish, $21 level. If I can get any kind of movement, those parabolic SAR charts have switched about a week ago. But this thing looks like a pretty fairly new stock and hasn't had any earnings yet, so be very careful on those. Earl, looking for MEN and Wing and my thoughts. Wow, like Wingstop. I remember trading that sucker. That was that's been a fun one. Wing, that's been some really choppy movement here. Initially looking for some support around that 128 to around 127-ish level for some support. We don't get any support holding at those levels. We're looking for around 23 for initial support. FYI, we do have earnings on the horizon, so be super mindful of that to kind of see how that plays out. Roll one. What's up, my friend? ABT, the Abbott Labs. Yeah, this one has just been like a nice steady eddy, even though it has a nice little dividend still. People have been piling this one a little bit with that potential movement of other various vaccines and things like that. Having the 5 and 8 cross over the 21, kind of trading higher. Having a little bit of issues here to kind of get above, trying to hit that 111 or 110 level. I think it can kind of get that movement. We have a squeeze fired, kind of a little bit maybe push up. Earnings on the horizon. This could potentially grind to that 111 range. Be very mindful, though. We do have earnings coming up, so I don't want to be holding straight calls into those time frames there. David S says, would it be great if you did some best practice videos for Patreons and how options are traded? Love the content, always learning. Yeah, David, I think that's be a good way to look at it, David, to look at helping those options trades there. I do want to do something for the Patreons and the YouTube members. That's I haven't decided on what's best, honestly. Oh, David, look at this. David S with the 10,999. Thank you, my friend. I really do appreciate it. And the ongoing support. Yes, I love it, love it. Thank you. Wow, you didn't have to do that. Always learning. Yeah, again, David, if you hit me up on Slack, on Discord, I'm always willing to help, especially someone that's interested in learning and has the patience. Sometimes I don't do the best to explain things. So, David, if you have anything that you want to like understand better, just hit me up and I can maybe shoot something out for those Patreon and YouTube members there. I appreciate it again, my friend. I'm cool, glad it made it to the live feed. Thank you, my friend. Ryan says PLL. Which one's that? Oh my gosh. Yikers. Hi caramba. That is a crazy looking one, my friend. I can't really add much there, Ryan. I think you know that. Ryan says, love what you do. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate that. Ken's the type of guy to drink decaf coffee. Yeah, I gotta wake up pretty early tomorrow, Ryan, so I don't want to mess up too much. You know what I'm saying? Did we cover Tesla and Apple yet? We did cover Apple, Steven, but we can look at Tesla. That's TSLA. Full disclosure, I'm a long-term investor in Tesla, so don't be careful on how I look for that one. So that being said here, this thing has been kind of consolidating what some technical analysis folks call a wedge. We can kind of see that pattern kind of come through here. And then right about here. So we're kind of coming into this. So what the thing is sometimes they don't go on the wick, they go on the close. So this is potentially the pattern that we're kind of seeing just a plain old wedge pattern looking to come in here. If it breaks above this trend line here, it could potentially go higher. If it breaks lower below this trend line here, it can go lower. That being said, I'm not usually the biggest fan of drawing lines on the board like that. I like the moving averages, volume, and other various characters to kind of help me understand what's going on. We do have a squeeze setting up. Volume is kind of shrinking off. Volumes on oscillator and RSI are kind of static. If we can get anything above that 435 and really get any kind of positive notion from the market, from other investors buying back into it, or whatever reason, we can easily see that 465 target to the upside. But that being said, some support to the downside is going to be coming around that 400 to 404 level, and even all the way down to around 371. That trend is still intact if it stays above those potential price targets there. Shane, yes, we did cover Workhorse. We can cover it back in a second here. Michael, what's up? Thank you. We can do D-King. Yep, we can look at the old DraftKings. This is one that I kind of got rocked out of due to I had some stops on it. I got shaken out of it. Looking for that move here. to potentially kind of hold above that 49.13. That being said, we want to keep those moving averages, the 5 and 8 moving averages, kind of stay above and not really kind of cut into that lower range there. So be very mindful of that for the old D King. I know this was offered some kind of some shares at these certain levels. So potentially kind of came here, flooded the market, kind of created some a liquidity problem. A lot of people just got those shares at that price there. Brandon says Square, and Trevor says thank you for explaining. You do a great job. Thank you, my friend. Square, whew. What do I say about Square? This is the one that got away. Definitely looking for that swing high to swing low here in the Fibonacci retracements. Really looking for that 193, even to that $200 price target to be set here within the old Square here. This has been a very strong movement in the stock here to the upside here for around $187, $188 price target. The RSI is not an oversold, but it's very near, and same with the volumes on also is getting somewhat near to those potential maybe trading sideways and maybe getting a small pullback to kind of wait for those other moving averages to kind of catch up from there. Alan says Datadog. Yeah, Datadog has definitely been a very strong name as well. Again, a lot of these data and technology-based companies have really gotten some love back, and some people are buying back into here. That being said, here with Datadog here, we're looking for some sideways action. Had a huge move higher, traded sideways, huge move higher. We could potentially see that sideways action coming around 115, even down to around 100 to $96. That trend is still intact. I know it seems strange, but that is definitely still intact if that movement wants to stay positive there. Even further down to around that $93 level, that trend is intact. This thing has been moved up fairly fast in a very short period of time, so be very mindful of that. What's up, Alpaca? Thanks for coming. Ryan says space. Oh, yes. I love my space. SPSEE. This thing has been, I bought into this some longer dated calls, haven't sold many of those. With those leaps, I'm really looking for above $30 initially, to be quite honest with you. It has had some issues kind of stalling out here on some certain Fibonacci retracements. Previously had issues around that $21 level, but was able to get past and got to that $25.78. Came all the way back down to that really strong base that we talked around, that $16 and $17 range. Now it's trying to break out here again, and it looks like it potentially could fail here at that $21.83 level. If we get any kind of pullback to around that $19.42 to even that $17 range, I would like to add to those leaps for myself. Leo says MTCH. Any opinions, please? Is that Match Group? Yeah, this thing has been, wow, really been trading on a beautiful looking chart here. Actually, just kind of holding that 34 EMA to around that 50-day SMA, and just been chopping around at those levels here. This is a very interesting play. Looks like we have a kind of a double bottom here. Let's look here on the fib side. Kind of having some issues around that 118-ish price target. We've seen it kind of fail here, and then trying to get back higher here. Since we have a squeeze and it fired long, but now it's kind of potentially kind of tailing off here. Initial support around 110, even further data support to around 105 on those, where those parabolic SAR dots are kind of lining up there. Hey, Ken, you're probably the only YouTuber who actually responds back to really appreciate it, so thank you. You're welcome, my friend. I try my very best. I'm not perfect, but I try. Of course, this says WIX. Is that website building thing? That's going to be probably. Ooh, I like this one. Is this the one you brought to me the other day? I like this chart, man. This is a great looking chart. Let's do. Yay. That's a nice looking chart. Let's see. I had this. No, I haven't added this one. So I'm going to add this one just to kind of keep an eye out for this one. I actually kind of like this play. Let me move these all over here. There. So this one is really setting up here. So it's basically had a pretty good earnings here, kind of traded sideways, had we call this kind of like a cup kind of a play. So it has this kind of like a concave kind of pattern here, kind of calming down here, potentially building a base here around that 618 level. That should be around that 290 level. If we can get any kind of positive movement here, with the upside, with that squeeze firing harder, we're looking for around 302 to the upside. Downside support is going to be coming in around 172 to around 166 to the downside, my friend. Yeah, I'm not really a fan of MJ. I've only done it once. So NIO, AAL, and GME, if you could please, Steve. NIO, we kind of did real fast. Looking for NIO. If it can hold the current levels and stay above $20, we're looking for around 26. But this one has been trying to break out higher and kind of consolidate to the upside there. GME, we kind of did already. That was one that is going to be very difficult because it's in the short squeeze. And that one could potentially run tomorrow to break above that $14, $15 range. To the downside, support is going to be initially coming in where the 21 EMA is to the downside. AAL, which is American Airline Group. Of course, this is, again, really tied to on if they can get a stimulus package and all the various components that kind of get a bailout package from the government to kind of help them pay for their flight attendants, their pilots, and basically their staff without trying to lay them off. I think the proposed limit was have enough cash for them on hand to pay payroll, I think until March of next year, maybe February next year. I can't remember what it was. But this one is just kind of trading sideways, just kind of waiting for any kind of moves higher due to the fact of any kind of looks on stimulus or when they're able to open up the gates for people to fly again, especially international and business. I have no idea where GME will be going tomorrow. That's definitely going to be a very strange one to play. Dropbox is failing. Yeah, a lot of people pump up Dropbox a lot. I don't see it. I really don't. I don't see it. It's been a kind of downward trending chart for me. Dropbox was definitely a drop, and then it'd be nice no next year. This is MCD, Walmart, Starbucks, and Target is TGT, I think, unless you're thinking of something else. MCD, so I'll do that. McDonald's has been in a very nice pattern here. With that pattern being said, we're looking for that all-time high. We can stay above 220 here. We can easily see that 246 again. We're not talking about a Tesla here. We're talking about Mickey D's that makes hamburgers and French fries. So this is definitely going to be a nice slow grinder here. You can really see that pattern play out with that 21 EMA here and this consistency slowly grinding higher up on those levels there. And Starbucks was one. So Starbucks is trying to do the same pattern that we just looked at here with McDonald's. Is trying to break out here. Hasn't fully recovered from its previous high around 94-ish, $95. That being said, I think this could easily kind of come into play here. We have questionable earnings coming out soon. We can see on how this plays out. So 95 is going to be next initial target if it can stay above that 87 to even the 87, 84 to around the 86, 50-ish range to the upside. OSTK looks good. Let's see here. overstock. Yeah, actually, I'm gonna have to agree with you on that one, Leo. That's a spicy meatball. This is definitely one that has been beaten down here around that 1,828 level, kind of being pulled back by the overall selling in the market here. Hold on, I'm just getting some more water from my microwave. With that movement here, really nice consolidation pattern around that $77, $78 range. Potentially could see this go higher with the squeeze ensuing here. Volume and RSI potentially spooling up here as well. If this can continue staying above the 21 EMA, we're going to be potentially looking for targets above 90 to even to that 113 range. So let me actually do away with these. I'm going to go update it with these fibs here. Yeah, so it's if it gets above 86.95, we're looking from 94.96 to around 102 to the upside there. Downside support's going to be coming around $77.03 there. Ken, the smart money is starting to get into Bitcoin. Prediction is 100K in 5 years. Experts saying more before summer 20. That I only feel comfortable saying this here in a small group. Yeah, I know what you mean. Like people. I remember when I was hearing Bitcoin 50K or 100K when Bitcoin was 20K. Because it's something substantially I think needs to happen, or it's a disconnect of the government or the fiat currency to really have Bitcoin really skyrocket to those levels. I think you're the best man. Thank you, Steve. But I'd rather buy oil tankers. Come on, Ryan, be nice. Wouldn't touch crypto, the 10-foot pole. As of right now, no, I wouldn't touch it with the 10-foot pole either. I don't want to get into it. The Bloomberg Terminal had their first article, a positive article about Bitcoin. Wow, good for them. What's up, Wesley? What's my thoughts on Workhorse? Yeah, we can look at Workhorse again. Looks like some more folks have joined in. Of course, Workhorse, a lot of people are predicting that this is going to be going higher. I don't know what's going to happen here. We do have some initial support around $22.90. With that can hold, we can potentially see a pump higher to above that $28.80 to around $30 to the upside. That being said, it's going to be highly connected to and lured to this infamous contract with USPS and that huge bid with really that huge bid is really going to be something that we have to be very mindful about there. Ryan says AIM's going to hit 4K this year. I think so too. Play-Doh, yes, I didn't buy Snow, but I bought PLTR. Just as I think I bought maybe $1,000 or $1,100 worth of stock at the time. But it's just going to be kind of sitting in the back of my portfolio and just kind of collecting dust. Not going to do much with it. What up, Bob? How you doing? How is your short to medium term outlook for Disney? Of course, it's been a long-term buy for me. Yeah, Disney has been a very long-term holding for me. So my outlook, of course, is it's one of my core holdings in my portfolio, my longer dated portfolio. That being said, I can see some support here around the 125 level. So that's going to be a very key level there for some support. with any kind of positive news on the parks opening up back up and really the virus overall. We've seen sports slowly come back, but not really with any kind of substantial staying power within the seating and stuff like that. But since kind of Disneyland, Disney World in Florida has been open, but with a lot of restrictions and still showing some positive information on that home front, even though a breakout that everyone thought was going to happen because people at Mickey's house don't know how to wear a mask or whatever. So, again, I love anything Disney. That being said, some initial support is going to be coming around that 121 range to the downside. If it can't get above that 125, it could be coming into that 121 for a little bit of choppy chop in the market there. Sanders, what do you think about ILCN? International City Bank, and it's not loading for me. Not sure. I can't give you an opinion if I can't see the chart, my friend. Sorry. Saying all in on SPY 350 tomorrow. What is SPY 350? So there is a Fibonacci retracement at what 350.41 here on the SPY. From the previous swing high to previous swing low, we're seeing that potential target around 350.41 there. If it can't get above, it starts getting below that 343, really getting below really the strong support level around 334 to around 331 to the downside. So be very, 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 very careful on that one as well. What is my perspective on bonds? So I shorted bonds last week. So I did the TLT. This is bonds ETF that I shorted it. We talked about it here. I shorted it basically around 164, 165. Had that nice little drop here. Initially got out of it. Didn't know it was going to drop that much to 200 EMA, but were very mindful of taking some profits on the table when we had the opportunity, especially on that one. A couple more minutes, folks, and then I'm going to be heading to bed. I'm going to start doing the live stream maybe around 9, because come 10:30, 10:45, the old Ken dog kind of runs out of energy, and my overall viewing and my brain power gets shut down substantially. My IV crush is coming in my brain right now. ICLN. ICLN. GN Clean. This is clean energy. So this is kind of like a solar stock. That's interesting. I didn't know that actually existed, to be quite honest with you. This thing is looking really well, actually. Like, it's going to be very difficult to touch right now. We're going to have to kind of let it cool off a little bit and potentially start seeing it trade sideways there. Initial support's going to be around, because it hasn't even touched the 5 EMA that much, so it's going to be, and it's way overbought right now, but it looks like it's really just kind of continued to kind of do its own thing, but things can't substantially do this forever, so it's going to potentially trade sideways or come down a little bit there. All right, folks, a couple more minutes, and then I have to go get my beauty sleep. Definitely do some kind of live stream during the week as well, to kind of collect things up, because again, we do have quite a bit of earnings coming out, so we'll do have some fun there. Ryan says Lodge. Yeah, this is definitely another play that I have on the longer term options. This has just been fantastic, honestly. This thing has just been gangbusters here. Looking for some initial stoppage and support here around 78.60, but really looking for those targets around 81, and then from 81 to around $91, all the way up there. So yeah, definitely going to be something to be very mindful and keep your eyes out without a doubt there. No more locked doors says J&J calls. J&J is again beaten up with a lot of those other pharmaceutical stocks. I understand that it's not as the same manufacturer as a lot of them, but this is definitely one that's been kind of just trading sideways and kind of waiting for a movement. We do have earnings on this one coming out on Tuesday. Let me double check. Yeah, Tuesday before the bell. So this is one that could be performing fairly well into earnings due to the fact of some vaccine-related news on that. Favorite series on Amazon Prime or Netflix? I don't know, honestly. I don't watch too much TV, to be quite honest. I'm trying to think what I did watch. I like anything kind of cooking channels, so I like Master Chef. What's the other show? Oh, shoot. Yeah, anything kind of cooking related because I love food. Plato, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. Thank you for your support, my friend. AMD question mark. Yeah, we can look at AMD. AMD. So this one kind of had a run into earning or the event, and then kind of petered off a little bit. But the support's still there. The trend is still trying to go higher here. Looking for some support around that 21 EMA, even down to the 34 EMA. So basically around 82.33 to around 80.42 or something like that range for some initial support. I know that's fairly close where we're currently sitting at, but this is definitely something that really could move with any kind of good positive news within the overall markets, without a doubt there. Yeah, it is. It's 10:30 where I currently live. Yeah, I live on the East Coast. I live in Virginia. I was gonna do a funny video because every single YouTuber that lives in California is like, "I'm leaving. ... Goodbye, California. ... And I was gonna say, staying in Virginia. Give the middle finger. No, I'm just joking. Get my Virginia. But do. Chips Ahoy cookies. Yeah, I haven't had Chips Ahoy cookies in a while either. They're right. Trying to watch what I eat. Virginia. There we go. Yes. Daniel says ABBV. Oh, this one's been taken much more than I thought. Wow. I didn't know that was performing that bad. With that last earnings not doing very well, continue to grind lower here. You can see here with the trend not being able to get above that 20 EMA, but we're seeing this kind of movement here, just kind of trading sideways here, potentially looking for some sideways activity into earnings and maybe get a boost higher again. Pharmaceutical stocks is not my very favorite thing or my forte to trade because those things have a complete mind of its own, and I really just do very well trading with those folks there. Alrighty. On that note, folks, I thank you. I bid you guys a very much adieu. Sorry I wasn't able to go a little bit longer today. The energy in the tank is a little bit low, even though if I drink coffee. If you got a couple more tickers in the box down below, I can take a looky-loo. But yeah, I'm going to start kind of wrapping things up and so forth. Plato says, Ken, do you trade? And I trade ETFs? I do trade ETFs, yeah. I trade SPX quite a bit for options, Plato. Brandon says West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, the river. Yeah, it's a great song. Ryan says, Etsy. I haven't looked at even Etsy. Like, what's going on there? Wow, holy moly. Are you in this, Ryan? Man, this is a rocket ship. Yeah, that is definitely a crazy one. I was looking to add it to this position here, but again, it kind of got off my radar. And now just like, wow, great move there. Looking for some initial targets around 151. Um, with that really holding that 5 EMA moving average. The RSI is not even really overbought yet, so this thing has a little bit more room to run. So be very mindful of this one. But anything with Etsy could kind of pull back if things kind of go awry there. AV says Piton thoughts. So yeah, Piton, just like we looked at Etsy, I think even more, has just been really running off to the races and really just being a crazy performer here. Looking for some initial targets around 130. That being said, here we're hitting some really overbought signs, again, overvalued in the short term. This usually can mean some consolidation patterns. So initial support is going to be around 110. Some longer dated support is going to be coming in around 102. Much more support is going to be coming in at that 50-day EMA, so 55 EMA and the 50 SMA, which is a simple moving average around that $86 to $90 range there. You're welcome for the analysis, my things. Thanks to you guys for so much for the ongoing support. I really do enjoy doing these things. We're gonna be doing some more videos coming out soon on just trading options. I think a lot of people ask about those and see how those play out. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching again. This is again Ken from the Dyslexic Investor. We're going to be doing some more live streams, I promise, sometime this week, and more videos, of course, coming out. If you want to join the Patreon page, that's down below. Same with the YouTube join button. You can support the channel in different various allocations. All right, guys. And of course, the Discord link down below if you want to join the free chat, completely free, no strings attached. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. This is Ken from the Dyslexic Investor, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.